this earth. And they were the most beautiful, the most gorgeous colors, and I got a chance to dance in front of the Lord, which is, I love to dance. How many people like to dance? Okay? Yeah, I love to dance. And I got a chance to dance in front of the Lord. And it was the most amazing thing. And I said to the Lord, I said, do I really have to go back down? Because I really don't want to. And he said, I just wanted to give you a taste of what you got coming. And I said, Lord, can I bring that down? He said, yes, it's the kingdom come. You're a kingdom person, and you're full of my presence. So you can bring, through color, through dance, through numbers, through your creativity, what I've given you and put in your heart, and you can bring that and have my kingdom be manifested through your life. Isn't that awesome? Yes, the presence of God. And I want to talk about how the Shekinah, okay? In Spanish we say Shekinah. Say Shekinah. In English they say Shekinah, right? But in the actual Hebrew it's Shekinah, right? Kind of like the way they would say it in Spanish. So anyway, so Shekinah is the thickness of the presence of God. Thick presence. I know that when I go in a room, I bring the presence of God in an unconventional way. Because I'm not looking for man's approval. I'm looking to know that I have been approved by my God. And I came here as a messenger to let you know that you have been approved by your God. What man cannot see, God sees in your heart. He's not looking to judge you and say you did this wrong and that wrong and lead you along this. When I was in my teenage years, I rebelled so much. There was so much structure, so much law in my church. I'm a pastor's daughter. And I tell you this, I was probably the worst one in the whole church. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Is we getting real here? Yeah. Okay, can I talk real to you? Yeah. All right. I was like looking at my watch. My dad had got me a new watch. I was like, is he going to be finished preaching? Hello, 4 hours? I'm ready to be out of here. And let me tell you something. As young people, growing up in church, I know that that's sometimes the feeling we have. Is it the right feeling? I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm also saying that sometimes you need to realize that you have given attention to things that cause you to take for granted the presence of God, because that's what I did. I gave attention to styles, to brand, to looking a certain way, to being approved by my friends. I looked for something that only God could give me in my friends. I looked for something only Holy Ghost could fill in me in trying to look a certain way, in trying to be approved. Let me tell you something. I formed something called a soul tie. And I'm going to go into that in a minute, but I want you to understand. When somebody has a color that you like, or something that you like about them, that's why, what was the purpose of that exercise? Well, I stuck with somebody that I like. If you're wearing the color blue and I like blue, I'm going to stick with you, right? And if you're wearing the color brown and I like brown, I'm going to stick with you. So soul ties can get formed in a way that you stick with something that, or someone that you like. It starts in a way. I remember I was in the kindergarten and I had a best friend. Her name was Janet Morero. And Janet Morero was Catholic. And she and I were both single children because she didn't have any siblings and neither did I. I didn't have a brother or sister. And we said, we're going to be blood sisters. Has anybody done that? We're going to be blood sisters? No? They don't do that anymore? Okay. So we were in the kindergarten, and Janet found a safety pin, and she took a safety pin, and she pricked her finger, and then she pricked my finger, and then we said we were going to be blood sisters. And that's how we formed a soul tie. And here's me. I didn't realize what I was doing. She was my best friend, so I was like, we're going to be blood sisters. And I said, Janet, now, whatever you like, I like. Look at, this is a little child, it's 5. Okay, I was in kindergarten. I met her in kindergarten, and we were best friends. Look, we're forming a soul tie. And all of a sudden, I started to get curious about what it was like to be a Catholic. And for the rest of my elementary school years, I thought Catholics always had more fun than Christian people, because Catholic got to do whatever they wanted, and then they could go and confess on Sundays. That's what I learned from Janet, because she and I, actually kept on being friends. And so I always took for granted what God gave me, because I made a soul tie without even knowing it. And sometimes, what is a soul tie? Let's talk a little bit about that. A soul tie is a connection. It's not always bad, okay? So a soul tie is not always bad. Anybody know about the relationship between David and Jonathan? David and Jonathan had a relationship, okay? They were best friends. And they were like, dude, like, you're my best friend in the world, and so whatever you need, I'm there for you. Like, I'm going to be like closer to you than a brother. And what happened was that because of that soul tie, David always looked out for Jonathan and his family. Okay, you could see that. And it's like being so close to someone that you do the right thing by them. That's not a bad thing, right? As long as God is first, right? Okay. Now let's talk about an ungodly soul tie. Now we have little ones in the room, and I didn't imagine it was going to be younger than 12, so I'm going to have to switch some of my message around because it has to be censored now, just for the sake of not putting anybody in an advanced place where they don't need to be. But a soul tie is a connection. Tell the person next to you, connection. Connection. Say connection. Okay. Now, a soul tie is not only a connection, but a soul tie can be connected through different things. If somebody gave you a gift, okay? I remember one time I was in college, and my college roommate had a little Buddha that, you know what Buddha? The little thing of Buddha? And somehow, something weird always happened in that room. So one day, I was not really serving God, but I could tell when there was something not right. And she, somehow accidentally, I ended up throwing out that Buddha out because it just seemed like something weird was happening around that Buddha. She had a connection with that Buddha. So a soul tie can be formed when somebody gives you something, okay? It could give you something, it carries something, even flowers. You got to be careful. Soul ties can be formed through your eyes. You have 9 gates. Say 9. 9. You have 9 gates. You got 2 eyes. You got 2 noses, 2 nostrils, right? You got 1 mouth. You got 2 ears. Gates. Okay. There's other gates on the body as well. Okay. You got 9 gates by which soul ties can be formed. Sometimes they are unhealthy. Okay, sometimes we end up forming these ties when we decide to associate with things that we like. Because I'll tell you, sometimes sinning is actually pleasurable. Is that true? Yeah, but the pleasure is how long? Very short. And the enemy gets you long enough to be involved in a soul tie so that you do not realize. And all of a sudden, hanging out and talking with your friend at church becomes more important than listening to the word. playing